Gaugamela, Alexander's greatest victory. The Battle of Gaugamela, fought on October 1st, 331 BCE, stands as one of Alexander the Great's most celebrated triumphs. It was here, on the plains near present-day Mosul in Iraq, that Alexander faced Darius III in a final, dramatic showdown for control over the Persian Empire. This legendary battle showcased Alexander's tactical genius, his unyielding ambition, and his ability to inspire and lead his men to victory against overwhelming odds. The victory at Gaugamela marked the end of Persia's reign and the rise of a new era under Alexander, forever altering the ancient world. Chapter 1. The Road to Gaugamela, preparing for the ultimate confrontation. Following his victories at Granicus and Issus, Alexander had marched through Asia Minor, Syria, and Egypt, conquering every territory he encountered. He was welcomed as a liberator in Egypt, where he founded the city of Alexandria and was crowned as pharaoh. But his ultimate goal remained the Persian heartland and its capital cities. To achieve that, he needed to confront King Darius III once again and end Persian resistance once and for all. Darius, aware of the approaching Macedonian threat, had amassed a massive army at Gaugamela. He carefully chose the flat, open terrain to maximize his numerical advantage, hoping his war chariots and scythe-bearing chariots would overpower Alexander's smaller forces. Confident in his numbers, Darius believed he would crush Alexander and reclaim his empire. But Alexander, determined to end the war with a single, decisive battle, carefully prepared his men, studying Darius's tactics and devising a strategy that would turn the tide in his favor. Chapter 2. The Macedonian Army and Alexander's Strategy. Alexander's army numbered around 47,000, a disciplined and well-trained force of Macedonian phalanxes, companion cavalry, archers, and allied Greek soldiers. Darius's army, on the other hand, was estimated to be over 100,000 strong, drawn from every corner of the Persian Empire and outfitted with war elephants, chariots, and a vast cavalry force. To face this formidable enemy, Alexander devised a strategy that would exploit Persian weaknesses. He instructed his phalanx to create small, intentional gaps in their formation to allow Persian chariots to pass through harmlessly. Meanwhile, he placed his companion cavalry on the right flank, under his personal command, and stationed light troops and archers to protect his flanks from being surrounded. He planned to lure the Persian forces out of formation and create an opening that would allow him to strike directly at Darius. Chapter 3. The battle begins. Darius's initial assault. As dawn broke on October 1st, 331 BCE, Darius ordered his troops to advance. The Persian chariots, fitted with scythe-like blades, charged toward the Macedonian phalanx. But Alexander's men executed his orders flawlessly, opening lanes in their lines to allow the chariots to pass through without causing damage. The Persian cavalry then attempted to encircle the Macedonian forces, but Alexander countered with his own light infantry, who held their ground with discipline and precision. The Persian army began to lose cohesion, and Alexander saw his opportunity. He led his companion cavalry in a rapid, decisive charge, moving in a sweeping arc to outflank the Persian left wing. His tactical genius lay in recognizing that Darius's forces, while large, lacked the flexibility and unity of his Macedonian troops. Chapter 4. Alexander's charge toward Darius. With the Persian lines stretched thin, Alexander executed his boldest move. Leading his companion cavalry, he charged directly toward the center of the Persian line, aiming for Darius himself. His speed and intensity caught the Persian troops off guard, and chaos spread through their ranks. Darius, witnessing Alexander's approach and the disorder in his army, panicked and fled the battlefield, abandoning his soldiers and leaving them without a leader. Alexander's charge at the heart of the Persian army shattered Darius's confidence and sent shockwaves through the Persian forces. As Darius fled, his army crumbled, and the Macedonians pressed forward, overwhelming the Persian troops with disciplined ferocity. The sight of their king fleeing demoralized the Persians, and their army fell into a chaotic retreat. Chapter 5. Victory and the Pursuit of Darius. As the dust settled, the battlefield was littered with the remnants of Darius's once formidable army. Alexander had achieved a decisive victory. Gaugamela was not merely a battle. It was a demonstration of Alexander's strategic brilliance and his soldiers' unwavering loyalty. The Persian Empire had been dealt a fatal blow, and Alexander was now the undisputed master of Asia. Determined to solidify his claim to the Persian throne, Alexander pursued Darius, hoping to capture him and eliminate any possibility of a counterattack. However, Darius was betrayed by his own men and murdered before Alexander could reach him. When Alexander found Darius's body, he ordered that the fallen king be buried with full honors, acknowledging him as a worthy adversary and respecting his royal status. Chapter 6. The March into Babylon, Susa, and Persepolis. With Darius defeated, Alexander's army marched into the heart of the Persian Empire. The cities of Babylon, Susa, and eventually Persepolis opened their gates to him. Babylon welcomed Alexander as a liberator, its citizens celebrating his arrival and offering him the throne. Susa, one of Persia's wealthiest cities, surrendered without a fight, providing Alexander access to vast treasures that strengthened his empire. When Alexander reached Persepolis, the ceremonial capital of the Persian Empire, he was struck by its grandeur and wealth. He held a lavish celebration to honor his victory, but he also faced a choice: show mercy or make a statement. In a symbolic act of revenge for Persia's past invasions of Greece, he ordered the palace of Persepolis to be burned, marking the end of the Achaemenid dynasty and the final collapse of the Persian Empire. Chapter 7. The Legacy of Gaugamela, the Birth of a New Empire. The victory at Gaugamela was not only Alexander's greatest military achievement, but also a turning point in history. With Persia under his control, Alexander was no longer just the king of Macedon. He was the ruler of the largest empire the world had ever seen. His ambitions, however, extended beyond conquest. Alexander envisioned a new empire where Greek and Persian cultures could coexist and flourish together. To achieve this vision, he adopted Persian customs, dressed in Persian attire, and encouraged his officers to marry Persian noblewomen, initiating the policy of fusion. By blending Greek and Persian traditions, he hoped to create a ruling class that would unite his diverse empire and lay the foundation for a new Hellenistic world. This approach was controversial among his Macedonian soldiers, who viewed it as a departure from their Greek heritage, but Alexander believed it was essential for lasting unity. Chapter 8. The Impact of Gaugamela on the Ancient World. The Battle of Gaugamela had far-reaching consequences, shaping the ancient world and influencing future generations. Alexander's victory ended centuries of Persian dominance in the Middle East and created a cultural crossroads between East and West. Greek became the lingua franca of the empire, facilitating trade, communication, and intellectual exchange. In the cities Alexander founded, such as Alexandria in Egypt, Greek philosophers, scientists, and artists mingled with Persian, Egyptian, and Indian thinkers, creating a vibrant intellectual environment. The Hellenistic culture that emerged from Alexander's conquests would inspire advancements in philosophy, medicine, astronomy, and art, leaving a legacy that lasted long after his empire fractured. Conclusion: a legacy of greatness. Gaugamela remains one of the greatest military triumphs in history, a testament to Alexander's leadership, strategy, and vision. By defeating Darius III and conquering the Persian Empire, Alexander not only reshaped the political landscape of the ancient world, but also laid the foundations for a new cultural era. His fusion of Greek and Eastern influences bridged civilizations, fostering a legacy of knowledge and exchange that would influence the Western and Eastern worlds for centuries. Though Alexander's empire would ultimately fragment, his victory at Gaugamela stands as a moment where ambition, strategy, and destiny converged to create an empire that changed the course of history. His greatest victory was not merely the defeat of Darius, but the birth of a new world where ideas and cultures flowed freely, connecting people from Greece to the Indus Valley. The legend of Gaugamela endures as a reminder of Alexander's greatness and his dream of a united empire that transcended borders and time. Chapter 9. Consolidating control over Persia. Following his victory at Gaugamela, Alexander marched through Persia with his army, securing each territory and integrating it into his growing empire. Babylon, Susa, and Persepolis, the grand cities of the Persian heartland, fell under his control, symbolizing the complete and final collapse of Persian resistance. Yet, Alexander's challenge was not over. He needed to transform his military conquests into a stable, unified realm. In Babylon, Alexander held a grand entry, honoring the city's traditions and respecting its deities. This approach won him favor with the locals, who saw him as a liberator rather than a conqueror. He preserved existing Persian administrative structures and appointed satraps, both Macedonian and Persian, to oversee the regions, ensuring a balance of power that would support his vision of a unified empire. Chapter 10. The Policy of Fusion, a Vision for Unity. Alexander's vision went beyond military control. He dreamed of a vast, multicultural empire where East and West could coexist under a single ruler. To make this vision a reality, he implemented a policy of fusion. Alexander adopted Persian